This past week in AI, you might have just seen a bunch of random headlines fly by. But if you look a little closer, you'll see they're not random at all. They're signals of a massive evolutionary leap. Let's dive in.
Okay, let's just run through the news real quick. First up, you've got Microsoft supposedly threatening its biggest partner, OpenAI. Then you get this piece of news that AI models are actually starting to learn how to train themselves, which means less need for us humans in the loop.
Then, boom, seemingly out of nowhere, a brand new architecture shows up that people are calling a potential transformer killer, which could, change the entire foundation of AI as we know it. And over in the app world, Apple just starts blocking AI coding tools from its store, sparking a whole new fight. And to top it all off, on the creative side, Midjourney just quietly launched a new version that pushes image generation way, way ahead of everybody else. It's a lot to take in, right? So, what's going on here? Are these just 5 disconnected stories from a chaotic week? Or are they all signals pointing to something much bigger, to the next phase of AI's evolution? Let's connect the dots. All right, first up, let's talk about the new power plays. This is all about the big money fight for who gets to control the future of AI. And that first battle is happening right at the very top. The Microsoft and OpenAI partnership, that has been the bedrock of this whole modern AI boom. Microsoft poured in billions, and OpenAI got the massive computing power it needed. But now, that alliance is starting to show some serious cracks. So check this out. The whole game is shifting. OpenAI is apparently looking to branch out. They're even exploring a $50 billion deal with Amazon for cloud services. For Microsoft, that is a huge threat to their massive investment in Azure. And word is, they're even thinking about legal action. So the key thing here? The fight isn't just about who can build the smartest model anymore. No, it's about who controls the fundamental plumbing that this all runs on. And this fight for control isn't just happening way up in the cloud. It's happening right here, on the devices in our pockets. Apple just made a really controversial move, blocking updates for some pretty popular AI coding apps like Beto. And what's the reason? It's a feature that some people are calling vibe coding, where the AI can literally write and execute new code on the fly right inside the application. Now, Apple says this is a huge security risk, but developers are firing back, saying it's just stifling innovation. And this really just brings the core attention into sharp focus, doesn't it? It's asking a massive question for the whole industry. As AI gets woven into everything we do, who gets the final say on how it's used? The platform owner, like Apple, or the developers building on top of it? Okay, so that's the power struggle. Now, for our second theme, beyond all that fighting, the actual technology is taking some incredible leaps forward, unleashing AI that is way smarter and more efficient. And this is a big one. A startup called MiniMax just dropped a new model, M2.7. And its headline feature is that it can partially train itself. And no, this isn't science fiction anymore. This is a new method that could speed up development like crazy. So how does that even work? Well, it still starts out with some initial tuning from humans, but then the model just takes over for a huge chunk of the process. We're talking 30 to 50% autonomously improving itself. This means everything gets faster, you need less human oversight, and the model is basically in a state of constant improvement. We're literally watching a shift from humans training AI to AI helping to train itself. And at the exact same time, the very architecture that things like GPT are built on is getting its first real challenger. A new open-source model called Mamba 3 just landed, and some folks are already calling it a potential transformer killer. So look, transformers have been the undisputed champs, right? But they are incredibly expensive and memory-hungry. Now, take a look at this table. Mamba 3 is promising something different. It's faster, it's cheaper to run, and in the early tests, its performance is actually a little bit higher. Now and yeah, it's a big if this new architecture can scale up, it could fundamentally change the economics of how we build AI. And finally, let's jump over to the creative side. Because while all the engineers were duking it out over architecture, the artists got a brand new tool. Midjourney, one of the leaders in AI image generation, just quietly launched the alpha version of its new V8 model. And the improvements are really impressive. It's faster, the objects and scenes it creates make more sense, and creators have so much more precise control. The gap between a simple idea and a professional-level image is closing faster than ever before. So let's recap. We've seen an infrastructure battle, a fight for platform control, self-improving models, totally new architectures, and a creative explosion.
It's time to connect the dots.
This is it. This is the single most important thing to take away from all this. AI's evolution isn't some straight, predictable line. It's not just one model getting a little better. What we're seeing is a full spectrum evolution happening at every single level, all at the same time.
I mean, just think about it. The very ground AI is built on, the cloud infrastructure, is now a battleground. The way it learns is changing as it starts to teach itself. Its fundamental blueprint, that transformer architecture, is now being challenged. The rules for how we can even use it are being written in real time. And its creative ability is just accelerating. Every single pillar is moving.
This whole space is moving faster than most people realize, and understanding these signals is going to be crucial. So if you want clear, focused breakdowns of what's actually going on and why it matters, make sure you subscribe.
And that leaves us with one last big idea to think about. We've spent decades accelerating technology, but these signals, they suggest we're entering a totally new phase. So I'll just leave you with this question. What happens when the process of evolution itself begins to accelerate?